Good day, everybody. It is quite the eventful day. We are about to talk about that clown Mayorkas, the other clown Biden, and Title 42, and the ending of it because they don't know how to operate anything in this administration. So we're going to jump on that and get about it and get you guys some information about where we're heading. So stay tuned. We will be right back. All right. Title 42 is coming
Indeed.
to a close. Um, we all know why. Don't let it
Hmm.
get your mind twisted as to, oh, we're just trying to be a world servant. No, 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 no. Their goal is to get rid of everything that protected America for the sake of globalism. Okay?
Damn
That's
right.
their whole goal. Globalism, globalism, globalism. They want to tell you that no one's busing migrants. They want to tell you that they're not letting them in. They want to tell you that they're not coming in by the droves. Oh, it's been a drop in. No, it's not. There's not been a drop. There's video everywhere from people,
Hmm.
not journalists, from people showing you that there are invading forces on our borders. And I don't mean children. They're
That's
being
right.
children are being used and trafficked to get sadistic, sick, disgusting men and women into this country. Call them
Exactly.
what you
And
want.
and if you look at the demographics, and we talked about this on the hooch, if you look at
Yeah.
the demographics of the people, they're just not Mexicans. There's
Mhm.
Africans, there's Chinese,
Yep.
Venezuelans, there's people from all over the world coming through the border. So you have to ask yourself or question it like, what's really going on? The majority of them are males, military age males.
Hmm.
And it's not just males from one country. So why are they flooding our country with all these men from other countries? I have a theory
Yeah.
on that, but we'll
There's
we'll
a
get
there's 128 different countries that have been coming across the border since last year. It's picked up. Like we're not just talking about Central America and South America. We're talking about everywhere, and a lot of Chinese nationals are coming across the southern border as well. Military age men that are coming across the border. So that's something to be worried about. And they've picked up tons of people from the FBI's wanted list and as well as the terrorist watch list and this whole shenanigans that's been going down there.
yeah. And I mean, my theory, one of my theories is that they're probing. So they're
Ooh.
probing to see. They're going to throw a couple people out there, kind of people that aren't that bad, but bad people. They're probing to see if they get caught, so they can later on push the really bad people in. This is just a
Hmm.
test, man. Southern border's the easiest border. I don't know why they're not going up north.
Oh, they're coming in. They're coming in from the north too. That's one of the ones that they're not really talking about. Is that the
Ah,
Canadian border isn't getting as much attention, but just the same amount of people are coming through. It's just a different process, right?
good.
So the the Canadians are having an issue too with that. So they've got it coming both ways. People are going from the U.S. into Canada, and then there are also people coming from Canada into the U.S. So they've got it two ways.
They're enveloping us.
Yeah,
This is an invasion. They can't get through
yeah,
the waters, so they come another way.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
And now,
it's a lot.
for people who are wondering what if we agree with Title 42, if you don't agree with Title 42, then you must be for an open and endless supply of immigrants for illegal reasons. Title
Yep.
42 put a specific guardrails, especially during the time of the so-called pandemic, um, with the correlation between the CDC and the DSHS, to limit the amount of people flowing in, limit the kinds of transactions between the border, and to also mitigate the release of so-called people looking for what do they call it? Asylum
Mm.
into
Yeah.
American territories. The problem is that with all of this being going down, our borders were way more secure with Title 42 in check.
Yep.
Okay, it was in check once it was there. If you watched, they were very hard pressed to get past, and they would have to try and use openings outside of the ports of entry.
Hmm.
Now, what you're telling us is that we don't care who comes in. We don't even have to check because remember they started this nonsense when Biden got in that they would release people without even checking whether they had an illness or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You could come in here. They didn't check whether the kid had the parent was the actual parent. As long as you had a child, the whole no separation thing, you could come in. Even then, we show you what we're about to show you, when they came to the border, remember Kamala told us to come on in just before they won, and then all of a sudden when she comes in, she says, "Well, don't come." By then it was too late. They already started their caravans coming here. There were trailers upon trailers upon trailers of people coming here. And then the whole busing started. But when someone in Florida sends a busload of people to New York, then it's a problem. I thought you said you were open. That's what he didn't. Isn't that what Mayor Adams said? He said, "Oh, we're open. Just come on in. We let everybody in." And when they show up, you're like, we don't want you in here.
Yeah, and they don't want nothing to do with it. And a lot of and I think, Coy and I talked about this also, about how all these governors from other states are always worrying about what's going on in the state that's not theirs. You know, you got the governor of New York and or let's say non-border states, governor of New York worrying about what's going on in Texas, talking about our border problem, but his people in his state don't have to deal with the issues. So like a good Texan did, he was like, okay. Or a good Floridian did, another border area that's easy to waters that are easy to get across. Okay, you want to feel this? We're going to show you what it's like and what we're dealing with. And like you said, they didn't like it. They're only supposed to stay down there. We don't want them up here.
Right.
So
here is, go ahead and bring that up. I want you guys to see, this is Owen Schroyer. In case you don't know who Owen is, he works and is the second hand to Alex Jones. All right. Now, just like his mentor, Owen don't have an off button. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks like an Amish Alex Jones. Is what he is. He's the Amish Alex Jones, and he has no off button, no chill. He's just as bad as Alex, but in a good way, where he's gonna start talking, and when he starts talking, you can't shut him up, okay? Because he's just gonna talk over you, and he's gonna be talking the truth. So if you don't like it, tough. So here you go. Listen to what's going on down there and what's actually taking place and what they're trying to tell you in the news versus what's taking place. Bring that up for us. I'll add it. Forget
this bus. They have dozens, if not hundreds, of these buses.
You got
all throughout El Paso, all throughout Texas, taking illegal immigrants everywhere. And it's more important to protect the illegal immigrants and drive this bus through a ravine across the border so they can get them on without the American media seeing them. And this bus is going to take them somewhere deep in the heart of Texas, drop them off. But Border Patrol tells us the border's secure, nobody's crossing, nobody's coming in illegally, as it happens right in front of our face.
Move back. Move back. Move back. Thank you.
Yeah, get out of the way, Americans. There's illegals coming in. Get out of the way, dirty Americans. We got non-citizens we got to help. You dirty, stinking Americans. This isn't your country. Get out of the way. I'm so glad that we're making sure that the media can't see Biden's border invasion. They drive 30-foot buses through ravines so the media can't see Biden's border invasion, and they send border agents out here telling us it's not happening.
That's the line. I want you to go over there. Okay. So are they going to block our cameras too? Yeah, make sure we can't see it. Very nice. Make sure nobody can see Biden's border invasion. Make sure nobody can see the illegal immigrants. You dirty, stinking Americans.
I'm sorry.
Your country gets more. Yeah, you dirty Americans. Get out of the way. This is the illegal immigrants' country. What do you guys think you're doing? This country's for illegal immigrants. You guys are dirty Americans. Get out of the way. How rude of you. How rude of you to think you have a country anymore. Hey, let's get another truck up here so no media can see this. In fact, let's just ban the media. Hey, guys, we're going to need you to shut your cameras off. We cannot document Biden's border invasion, okay? Everybody shut your cameras down. No free speech. The Border Patrol's here to tell me to shut up, too. Sir, he says. An American citizen. An American citizen. Unbelievable. This is an attack on the country, folks. That's what this is. If you can't see it, you're oblivious. And we sit here and film it and take this from our government. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But hey, don't worry. They'll get taken care of. They'll get food. They'll get clothes. They'll get everything they need. You dirty Americans need to shut up and get out of the way. Look at this. They get protected. They get protected with guns, but the Democrats want to take guns from you. So guns to protect the illegal immigrants, but y'all aren't allowed to have guns when the Democrats ban all your assault weapons. This is just ludicrous, man. This is a clown world that I live in. What a joke. Get out of the way, you dirty Americans. This isn't your country anymore. Law enforcement, open border law enforcement here. This is what you get when incompetent clowns run your country. And you're not going to shut me up. I'm an American citizen. I have a First Amendment right. It's time we start acting like Americans. This is ridiculous. And you know what? I guarantee you they all agree with me. I guarantee you they all agree with me. But their leaders are too cowardly to do the right thing. Yeah, get that Border Patrol truck in the way. Make sure nobody can see it. Unbelievable. You guys like this? You guys like Biden's America? The same Border Patrol agent that tried to shut me up said there was no illegal immigrants coming in just 20 minutes ago. This is amazing stuff right here.
There they go.
Let's all just accept the state of our country. Make sure the illegal immigrants get better protection and more rights than everybody here. Unbelievable stuff. And look, hey, no one else complains. You know, it's always got to be me. No, everybody else loves being told that they don't have any rights and they have to pay for all of it. They just love being lied to. They love being treated like a bitch by their government. It's just beautiful stuff. Welfare state, open border, great stuff.
I gotta have Owen on this show, man. We gotta find a way to get Owen on this show.
That'd be hard. He lives here in Austin.
I would love to have him.
You'll see him at rallies. You'll see Alex Jones at some of the rallies. Owen's Owen, man. He's the same way. When I saw him at a free speech rally, he was the same way, dude. He was like yelling with his megaphone, and he was going off.
They're busing them into the heart of Texas.
That's right.
Yeah, and many other southern states. That's where they're busing them.
They only care that they get, like, this is the thing that irritates me, is that Chicago is complaining about 250 to 500 migrants showing up in their city. Only 500. We're not talking about the thousands and tens of thousands that have been dropped off in local municipalities in Texas and also in Arizona and California and all the other places, like all the border states that have this problem. They have to deal with thousands of people influxed into their small towns, and they're complaining about a city that is getting only 250 people to maybe 500 people. And they're complaining that there's not enough room for all these people. It's like, what do you think that Texas has been complaining about? They're the ones that have to deal with this problem constantly of having this many people. We're talking millions have come across the border this year alone already. And they're already overwhelmed. Like, what are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to send them?
Right.
Like, the Democrats' policy is what's causing this mess in the first place.
Here's how my conspiracy brain works. So we all know that you can join the military without being a citizen, correct?
Yeah.
And you earn your citizenship by serving your country. Now, you see how woke the military has gotten to where if you didn't abide by the thing, they pretty much booted you out. And you see how the military has kind of changed into this kind of woke military. What if the powers that be are getting all these military age males to say, hey, join the military, you can stay. They all join our military, and then they train them to hate Americans. Because they already do. A lot of them already don't like us. So and now they're in our military. Now they have the authority, if something was to happen, to open fire on citizens that in a country that they never grew up in. They don't really care about it. They're getting paid to do a job. It'd be harder to get us to do it.
Here's a downside to that. You know what the downside to that is?
What's that?
We wouldn't be shooting back at American citizens.
You don't have to feel bad.
We wouldn't feel bad at all putting you on the ground. Okay, it's not Frank. It's not Frank who I grew up with. It's not Johnny who I grew up with. Escobar, who came here illegally? Oh, look out, Escobar! You're going to join Pablo in a minute.
But I
hope they try.
I don't think that's actually possible. I don't think illegals can actually sign up. I think there's an actual process you have to go through in order to immigrate legally to get a green card in order to actually serve. I don't think it's something you can do when you show up.
You can look.
They will
you don't think they would change that? You don't have to be a
yeah.
citizen. You don't have to be a citizen like someone. You don't have to be a citizen to serve in the military. As
Yeah,
a
you
drill
don't.
sergeant, we used to
I
have
almost did.
naturalization ceremonies.
No,
and
no, no.
basic
Yeah,
prep-
I know that.
Now
I'm talking about
I
in
get
order
what
to
you're
actually
saying.
enlist in the first place, it needs to be like
Yeah, without
legit.
a-
You had to have come here legally, is what I mean.
No. Here's the thing.
No.
Here's what it is. I've been through the immigration system, and here's how this works on the inside. What they tell you on the outside does not happen on the inside. Okay. If you come here legally, you are at the back of the line. And I mean the extreme back of the line.
Mhm.
Everyone that broke the law to get here gets their papers before you. They don't have to do the test. And I'm dead serious about this. The illegals don't have to pass a test. They don't have to pass the background check. They don't have to do anything. They get their papers before any legal. I had a visa, student visa. I didn't overstay it. I filed for my permanent residence card long before it expired. I went into the office to try and make sure everything was set. There were people there who were illegal aliens. This is in Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas. I went in to get checked to make sure that my paperwork was in order. There were people there who were illegal. I mean, illegal. They got there the week before I got there and had their naturalization papers the next week. I waited 2 years to get my naturalization papers. They got it the next week.
Exactly. And in the chat, people aren't getting what I'm saying. I'm not saying these people are going to come across the border and be like, hey, go stand in that line for the army. No, it's going to be a process. They come across, they give them the residence card. Like Marlon said, right there within a week or two, they get the residence card. Boom, here you go. Now you can do this, blah, 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 blah. So I'm telling you, there's a possibility that it could happen. There is a possibility. You don't think our government has control? They already control all of this immigration stuff. They can change the law like that. Boom, snap of a finger. When they come across, each one of them get a resident card. They
Look
can
at
do that.
DACA. Look what Obama did with DACA.
Yep.
It was unconstitutional, but he did it anyway.
Exactly.
it was completely illegal, but he still did it. Like, he didn't care. He didn't have to go through the Congress. He didn't have to go through anybody. He just did it. So when people like the Democrats today say, okay, we're going to just let the influx in, they already have a plan to make them not be a problem to them here, and to make it completely plausible for them to do what they need to do.
Exactly.
Now, speaking to the illegal people here, I want you to understand something, though. I mean, you may not care. Okay, I understand you may not care. You may hear this and you'll be like, whatever, man, I don't care. Okay, well, don't care, but I'm going to tell you something. And I'll have you hear it from their mouth, okay? You're garbage to the Democrats. I want you to understand you are trash to the Democrats. You are a bottom-dwelling, low-life, gutter snipe is what you are to the Democrats. You don't believe me? Okay, here's what I'm going to do for you. You want to know what the Democrats see you as? Here's point number one, how they see you. Listen up.
Trump is a lightning rod, even when he's not there. Look what happened on The View today with guest co-host Kelly Osbourne.
There are a lot of Latinos here in this country that do agree that the immigration problem is a problem, and it does need to be addressed, and it does need to be fixed.
Interesting.
But making those comments, those racist comments, do not help.
And if you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying that.
Okay?
That's not
you see
even
where they're
the
putting
worst.
you, right?
Yeah.
You come in here to scrub toilets. Hold on. Now, mind you, we have truckers here, right? We have American truckers, and they do a lot of carrying cargo across the United States. They've been doing that for what? Almost since the existence of trucking, right? Americans have? Okay. I'm just making sure that still exists. And we have farmers here. We still have farmers. We still have people with land, and they produce produce. Okay. That's what I thought. But maybe this is the same, by the way, this is the same Negro, Democrat, who thought Guam was going to flip over.
I know who
Okay,
you're
this is
talking
the
about.
same moron who is in Congress. This man is so dumb. He think that Guam was going to flip over because
So
of how narrow it was.
the dollar
Okay,
store Obama.
yeah. Listen to what he says.
To create crisis at the border so that people come here and they are always subject to being illegal workers. And we need to do something about that in this country. Those folk who are coming across are the ones who are helping to put food on our table. Without them, we're not able to eat. If you turn them away, if all of them were turned away, and then this legislation passed, making it easier to get at people who are already here legally, and you have no immigration, then we would have no food on our plates. We would have nobody taking care of the building, the construction of our homes. We would have nobody cleaning up in the hospitals. Honest work that deserves an honest day's pay. That's the kind of system that we need to have in this country. Immigration is important.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm sitting here in shock, right? He said, ain't nobody gonna be there to clean up the hospitals. Like, that's what they're all. It's like, apparently all of the immigrants that come here are brain dead. They have no skills. They got nothing to offer except janitorial and menial labor. Now, mind you, this is the same group of people that think the exact same way about black people. But no matter what we try to tell y'all, you don't want to listen. You can't maintain a job. You can't keep your head above water. You can't use a bank account. You don't know how to use the internet. You don't have a law. You have nothing. That's how dumb the Democrats believe both immigrants, illegal immigrants, and black people are. Mind you, I think they think that because they have morons like Hank, who thinks of an entire island is going to flip over. So they have, at least they have a reference point. If they have Hank in their party, I can see why they think black people are stupid. Because he's dumb. Dumber than a box of rocks. But if you are listening, illegal people, on your Obama phone or whatever they gave you, the Biden phone, or the Biden computer that they gave you, you are the lowest common denominator that they can find. You're filler. Okay? They don't care about whether you came from persecution. They're here to use you for a means to an end. You have no purpose to them other than to be used. If you want to be used, I guess you see, because you make some money out of it. But when you're all used up, they're not going to give you anything. What have you attained at the end of it? Nothing. You're not going to actually be an American. You're going to be something other. You're still going to endure the same persecution that all black people have endured from the Democrat Party your whole life. That's all you're going to get. You think Title 42 going away is a good thing for you? No, it's not. It's just making it easier for them to abuse you. But hey, if you like it, you like it. I mean, it's no different than Mexico, I guess.
And pretty much, they're just going to be another slave to the system. And like Marlon said, they don't care about where you're coming from, what you're going through, what you're running from. They don't care. You are nothing more than tax revenue for them. So their big banks can get paid. The more people are working, the more money they get. That's all it is, man. And everybody's like a humanitarian. That's nothing but freaking fluff. They say that on TV to get you in your emotions, to brainwash you to think that they actually care about humanity. They can barely take care of our people here. But yet we're supposed to worry about all these people and give them all this and that and this, that and this. That's a slap in the face to Americans born and bred here. I'm just saying.
There's a couple of nuances I think a lot of people miss with the immigration policy. One of them being the Democrats are playing a dirty game, right? Because if you know how delegates work, right, and the Electoral College and how people gain seats in Congress, is it's based off of population density, right? So what's the easiest way to up your numbers in the seats of Congress without having to change the voting rules? Is you get illegals to fill up the state, because they count the illegals the same way as they would citizens. So you get an extra seat in certain places if you have an influx of illegal immigrants. And most illegal immigrants, why they have sanctuary cities is because they want them in the state. They don't necessarily want them in the city, but they want them in the state. So they entice people into these counties and places, and then they get extra seats. That's one of the nuances there. The other one is they always conflate legal immigration with illegal immigration, right? They always say that the right is anti-immigration. No, we're not anti-immigration. We've always been anti-illegal immigration. Illegals are the problem. And the other nuance to this is that when they say that these are the migrant workers, the pickers, they're the cleaners, they're all this, the only reason they have to get those jobs is because most of them are getting paid under the table and they're not taxable. That is why you have cheap labor. So if they could get slave labor, they would. But instead, the next best thing is illegal immigrants who don't have a choice to do that. And if you don't want to pay them, all you have to do is call immigration, and they get roped up, and then they go away. And people do that. There are stories of it happening all the time where they didn't want to pay their workers, so they just said, hey, immigration, I got some illegals here, come pick them up. And they did. Right? So, like I said, if they could get slave labor, they would, but instead they got illegals, and they want a lower class citizen to do these jobs because they don't have a choice. If they came in legally through the system, they would get better jobs, and we could make it better for people. Like, here's one of the irritating things, right? Is that a lawyer from Venezuela cannot get a bar certificate here to practice law. Neither can a doctor or a nurse, because they don't transfer over. Even though most of the same education that they would receive in the United States they did there, and they're certified, but they won't let them get certified here. So they have to get poorer jobs. So they can't actually get their lawyer job or their doctor job, because now they have to clean toilets because they don't have other choice, because they can't get their certifications, which they already studied for. There's a whole thing with this that people miss out, is that the system is effing them over so much, and that we're not helping them. The Democrats are not helping them with what they're doing. They're making it worse. And they're making a serf class for them to do their bidding, and that's it.
Here's a flip side, okay? That's good. That was good information. Now, this question here, okay? Yes, they are. Now, here's the thing. If the Democrats have not taught people anything, is this. And if you should have been, I should say, if the Democrats have taught us anything, it should be this. When they want to control you, they keep you needing them. Okay? You want to talk about not necessarily you, commenter, but people, that they put black people at a deficit with drugs, and they don't talk about the fact that you were given projects by the Democrats. LBJ, by the way, gave you projects. Okay, they gave that to the black people, projects, in order to keep you in one location and in order to control. They're going to do the exact same thing to the immigration people that come over here. If you want proof that remember when Joe Biden was talking to the NAACP and a whole bunch of the leaders, and he said by 2040, the Hispanics are going to be a bigger number than you are, and you're going to have to learn to negotiate with them because they're going to make up a larger percentage of the population than you do. And second, it'll be white people. It'll be Hispanics first, whites, and then blacks will be at the back. He said this, and stupid black people still voted for him. I'm going to be frank with you. The morons of our society voted for that clown, even after he told you he had planned to put you at the back of the bus.
Yep.
Okay? He said, with his own stupid mouth, he said this. 2 black leaders, and they just laughed about it and endorsed it. Now you're seeing him putting that plan into action with his cackling hyena vice president, who's supposed to be the border czar, right? That buffoon, right? That prostitute that's in power now. You have her, supposedly open borders. It makes sense because she's always open. That person is in charge. He told you before that he was going to do this to you. A few are waking up. You want to see how they're waking up? I want you to watch this. Just watch and listen. I think this is in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Listen carefully. Now you're finally getting an idea of what's coming, because Biden's putting into motion what he told you he was going to do. He's not lying to you. He told you exactly who he was, and you just didn't believe it. But here he is. Listen up.
It is insulting that you would consider such action about a forgotten community that none of you live in
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with a crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input.
A packed house at the South Shore International College Prep High School. The crowd voicing their opinion, strongly opposing the addition of migrants in their community.
I am just outraged. I'm outraged, and I don't understand why our community was chosen.
City representatives saying the old South Shore High School would not be a shelter, but one of 3 respite centers for the migrants to temporarily sleep, eat, and take a shower, starting with about 250 people taking up the building's first floor. This is a way for the city to get the current 300 migrants out of the police stations. Questions were asked, but answers hard to hear, interrupted by the upset crowd. Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us. Yeah. That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
So is this a done deal? A spokesperson for Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office says this is a possible solution, but still a fluid situation. Reporting live tonight, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
If that doesn't upset Americans in general, but mainly black Democrat Americans who vote for these people every election cycle, who give to their campaigns, who are out here at their rallies, praising them, promoting them, and they turn around and do this to you.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that they've never cared about you. They've only cared about your vote. And this is why us black conservatives are so voiceful about walking away from the Democratic Party, because we don't buy into that crap anymore. We see them for who they really are. So, I mean, hopefully BLM gets involved. I doubt that. I'm not a big fan of them, but where are they at? Why aren't they out there protesting? Why aren't they giving money? Why aren't they on the news talking about this? These big groups, NAACP, BLM, you know, all these big pro-black groups. I don't see you on TV talking, because your voice would help a lot of that.
It's the same reason why they're not outside of abortion clinics in the inner cities.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Like, here's something I've been looking up like recently, just the last 5 minutes. The black population has, from 1790, the black population was 19.3%, right? The lowest it was 9.8 in 1940. Guess what the percentage of the black population is in the United States now?
17.
No, it's like 14%, right? It is not even the highest percentage it's ever been since slavery. Right now, how ridiculous is that? You really think about that, right? Like, they always talk about like the conspiracy theory with that they call the conspiracy theory of the replacement theory with Hispanics surpassing white people in the United States. But the thing is that the black population should be much higher than it is right now, but it's not. Right, and that's a really big question that people need to start asking themselves: is why is the percentage of the black population always are under 15%? It never goes above that. It hasn't been above that since slavery times, right? It's been less and not more. It's at 13, 14%, but it won't go above 15%. And it's still decreasing as we speak.
Well, you know, those percentages, I take all those censuses and numbers with a grain of salt. The numbers are low, but I think they're a lot higher than what they're actually reporting. I don't know too many black people that actually take the census, that actually care about the census. So, and I think there's a lot of people out there that, a lot of different races out there that they put on a paper as white, Hispanics being one of them, Asians, they kind of fall under that white passing, that whatever, however you read it. And when they have to mark whatever race they are or whatever, they have to mark that. You know what I mean? When I worked in a jail, I'll be looking at a stone cold Hispanic dude, like fresh off the border. And you look at his chart, it says white male.
Yeah.
So a lot of these numbers, it is, take it for what it's worth. That's all I got to say. Take the numbers for what you think they are. I believe that the numbers are a little higher. It's not that high. I think we're about in the 20s, 21 percentile range, but who knows, man? We'll never know.
No, like I said, it's just one of those things of just generationally, if trends continue the way they were supposed to, the black population should be 20 at least, or more. 25% should be, based on population growth. It should have been, especially when it comes to the white population, which is decreasing. Right? It should have been doing the inverse, at least. At the very least, they should be coming up matching, but it's not. The Asian population is still growing more than the black population overall, and that's something that's troubling.
So here's what America needs to do. When you take your census, everybody put African American and just mess up the whole system.
I'll do it too.
If you got one drop of black in you, you black.
Yeah.
I found it.
The 1%. The 1%.
I found it, and it took me a bit because it's a whole hour and 14 minutes worth of video that I had to flesh through while I was sitting here to find it. But I found it. It's not scrubbed yet from the internet. But I want you to listen. This was before he became president. Okay? He was speaking to the NAACP and the civil rights leaders. This is him speaking. Okay? I'm just going to play it through my phone so you can hear it. Just listen carefully.
But all kidding aside, I've known you my whole life, most of you. I've worked with you my whole life, most of you. I've been around doing this for a long, long time. I don't always get it right, but I always take responsibility. When I get it wrong, I acknowledge I got it wrong.
Really?
But my overarching objective, if we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who will make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do in terms of raw numbers. We're going to have to be working with a whole group of people that, in fact, are the single most diverse democracy in American history.
You hear that? Hispanics are the single most diverse, right? Most diverse, not black people, Hispanic people who are coming across the border. Who are they open to? Who did they ask to show up? Who are they replacing you with?
Yeah.
You still think the Republicans are the bad guys? Okay. Let me ask you another question. And this is to the people that really have to vote with a D next to their name because you like the D so much. Listen carefully. Take that how you want. It's a joke. It's not a D. Don't take it so hard. Listen here. These people will tell you what they're going to do to your face. It's no different than when they would be dealing with slaves back in the day. I'm going to take your child and kill it in front of you if you don't pick that cotton. And you sit there like, really? And he'll take your child, dismember it in front of you, and throw it in the same field where you have to go work. The Democrats have not changed. They've just left you to slaughter each other in your own neighborhoods. And now, before anything has passed, before he even became president, he told you that he was going to make you not just any minority, but the very last dregs of society. He told you this. Now you complaining? After you put him in, you complaining now? He told you that you were nothing. He told you he was going to put you back in chains. His words, not mine. He told you were roaches. His words, not mine. He told you were insignificant. His words, not mine. He told you the only person that he ever met that had a clean accent and a nice, clean-cut look was Barack. He hadn't met one before that. His words, not mine.
Don't forget a racial jungle.
That when he was coming in, he was going to be bringing in all of the Mexicans and any other illegal group he could find to displace Black Americans in this country. He tried doing it with the crime bill. He tried pushing it then, and he's concluding his whole plan in his geriatric years with this. He's in Title 42 for a purpose, because he's a racist POS. And that Kamala Open-Leg Harris is the exact same way. But y'all, because she got a tan, you like her. And because he could talk like he got hot sauce in his mouth, you like him too. Meanwhile, he's making the plan to kill you. Literally kill you. Wipe you out, take you, displace you from what little you got. Right? He ain't trying to enhance you. He's trying to replace you. And you in the corner like, right? That's you. I'm a Democrat. Well, be a Democrat. Be the little monkey with the symbol in your hand. Be that.
But the party switch.
Have it.
Marvin.
Have at it.
The party
have
switch.
At it. But understand this. You don't have room to complain now.
Yeah.
You have zero room to complain about anything. Whatever happens to you, happens at this point. You voted for this. This is what you wanted. So enjoy it.
Here's a question for Black folks, if you really think about it. Like, we already know white people are getting replaced. It's just a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
The demographics are showing that. So do you think Black issues are going to get looked at if you're not even the majority minority in the United States? No, it isn't even getting looked at right now when the white people are the majority. You think it's going to be when the minority is going to be Asians and Mexicans or Latinos? No, it's not. It's you are going to be at the back of the line just like it is right now. It's going to be the same thing until you actually move forward with everything and stand up for your rights on that line. That's just the way it is. I hate to say it. That's the way it is. It's disgusting, but that's the way it is.
Black folks need to go back to our roots, right? You know what our roots are? The Republican Party. We created the Republican Party. So people need to look at the party you support. Like Marlon said, all this stuff that's going on with these immigrants and them taking over in Chicago and them getting buildings in Chicago, that's your fault if you voted for that man. Own it. You wanted it, you got it, and you voted for it. Own it. It'll make you think the next election. And if you vote for him again, you are a self-hating American. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank. This ending of Title 42 was not just about the immigration laws, and it's not about the immigrants. I'm telling you now. Go back. If you're a Democrat and listening to this, I don't like you, but I don't hate you. Okay? I don't like you. I want to make that completely clear to you. I do not like any Democrat. Like none. There's not a single Democrat that I could say I like. I ain't supposed to like you. You like the death of babies. There's no way you're going to get me to like you. Sorry. You got to change that viewpoint before I even remotely like you. I may have to love you in a godlike way, but I don't have to like you, and I don't like you. I despise everything about your belief system. Just understand that before I continue. Understand that first. But go back, for the sake of your own brain cells, go back and listen to what he said before he became president. Now go to today and look at what he set in motion. And you will look and see for yourself that he does not have any benefit of America in his mind or even his wheelhouse. He doesn't. Kamala Harris went from being Black to being Asian Pacific to being Indian to being Black again. And she always turns Black when it's something to try and get your attention and your emotional vote out of you. Oh, she's the first Black this, she's the first Black. All of us said, now look, she's an Indian. Happy Island Pacific Day. She's a transracial person, right? She could just switch out anytime she wants. Chameleon. She's a chameleon.
You remember when she celebrated
the oldest fart, and you put the worst whore in the in public office.
She's racial fluid. I think that's
You
the
remember
right terminology for it.
You remember
Fluid.
when she celebrated Kwanzaa, and everybody with like a free thinking brain looked at her like she was crazy, you know, and that's her pandering to black folk. You got to understand, people like her are pandering. She's nothing more than a house to Joe Biden. She's nothing more than blackface because she's not really black, you know. But people will praise her because of her the first this and the first that, and she's never even lived the black experience in America. She's an American, but she's never lived the experience.
No.
And for her
Even
to sit up there and pander to
even
you,
if she didn't live, even if she did live it or didn't live it, she doesn't care about it.
No.
She was one of the main culprits in California that put multiple kids in juvie, black kids, and was happy about it. In fact, she was threatening to put black parents when they couldn't afford childcare. She was threatening to put them in prison too. Kids in juvie and the parents in jail. I just want you to make it make sense. How you think that listen to the two people you elected. You elected the mastermind of the 84 crime bill that put multiple Negroes in prison for no random reason, anything you want, small bit of crack, jail. Then you put as his vice president the one whore that did the exact same thing in California. And yes, I'll keep calling her that because that's how she got into power. She rose to the top by being on the bottom. Let's just get that right. She rose to the top by being on the bottom. If you don't like the truth, I can't help you, but that's the truth about it. Kamala Harris never made it on her intelligence. She made it on the fact that she had something between her legs that a man in power wanted, and she gave it up for it. Right. You put that in power. The two most dangerous human beings in America, you put in power over you. I just want you to make it make sense. I really do. But you can't. I know, but you can't. But I want you to try.
Well, you know, the only thing they'll say is anyone but Trump. And that's where a lot of us had a problem. You know, you voted for these people because you didn't like Trump's personality. And you thought they were going to do good by people of color because they said it. You know, but like Marlon said, go back in Joe Biden's history. Go back and watch some of the historical tapes of the things he said. You know, Robert Byrd's funeral eulogy. You know, who, if you were truly against racism, like me and Coy and Marlon, I would never in my life go to a former member of the KKK, Grand Dragon, whatever they called him, and stand at his funeral and speak at it. That tells you what type of people they are. That tells you that's his mentor. Who calls a racist their mentor? Who does that?
Apparently,
and he's doing it right in front of your faces. It's in prime time. You know what I mean? It's not like he's hiding it, and you guys are still like, "Yeah, go Biden. Yeah, we love you. Stop making fun of the old man and all this stuff." While he's sitting up there, he's probably watching Birth of a Nation in the White House right now. That wouldn't surprise me.
One of the things that bug me is that it used to be that the left actually liked this country, right? We might have had different ideas of what should happen with the country, but we still love this country. But the left that exists now is not that. They absolutely hate America and whatever it stands for, and they don't want to be in the same country as us. They live in a completely different reality than us and what we want. It's untenable the way it is. It's going to turn into a powder keg eventually. I mean, it already is. We've already seen what it is, but like, the only way to change that is to get people to actually see the truth that the America dream is still a realistic thing. I mean, that's what Martin Luther King wanted. He wanted his kids to grow up in an America where everybody was judged on their character. That's what we should have been doing, right? So like he still loved America enough that he still had faith that we could persevere and fix the problems and live on the promises that the Bill of Rights gave everyone, that all men are created equal, right? That is the American dream. It might not be perfect, but we can make it better together. That's what we should be doing right now, but we're not. Instead, we have an entire system where they hate America so much that they want to destroy it completely from its foundations, from the Constitution on up to the Bill of Rights. They want it all gone so they can start over for their cultural revolution, for whatever it's worth. And that saddens me. It really does. Like that's where we're going wrong. We have to wake people up to have them understand that the America is still a good place. We can fix it as long as we're pushing together. If you hate the country, then there's no fixing it.
None.
It's either it is or it isn't.
I want people to understand, and I know we're not a democracy, and that makes people understand we're not a democracy, right?
Yeah.
Never have been.
No.
And I think what many have forgotten is that whether or not we're a 2-party, 3-party, 1-party organization, as you might want to call it, it does not negate our American role as citizens and what we can and cannot do by way of the Constitution, which is the underlying right of all Americans. All right, understand this. That has not changed. Whether the government wants to honor it or not, that hasn't changed. We have lost our balls. Let's just be frank about it. They snipped it, tucked it away. They gave us a sex change. That's what they did. They took the Americans, the real Americans, and gave us a sex change. Took our spine, took our nuts, and now we got none. Even though we have paper from the foundation of this country that tells us we can go and wipe them out. It's in there. In case you don't know what the Tree of Liberty is, I'm telling you right now, we're in the space of refreshing that tree. You want to know how far right I'm willing to go? That far right. That's the far right I think we need to get to. We need to reset these clowns, get rid of them completely. And by our own Constitution, we are allowed to do that. Not only are we allowed, we are beckoned to do that by that Constitution. By the Declaration of Independence, we are beckoned to do that. By the Bill of Rights, we are beckoned to do that. But we're not doing that because we think that they have been given power. They're not. They're supposed to protect our power. They have none. They believe they have because they've been persuading us that they do. When you realize they have none and you have it, the whole game changes. Everything changes. But we got to wake up. We got to wake up.
And what a lot of people have to realize about DC, if you notice that a lot of politicians live in the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia has its own laws, has its own constitution. This is why the District of Columbia is not really part of the Union. They're their own kind of entity, kind of like the Vatican. Think about it. If you think like the Vatican is in Rome, but it doesn't abide by what goes on in Rome. It's its own kingdom. Same thing with DC. You know, this is why they got so upset with January 6th, because how dare these peasants come into our kingdom, DC, and try to take over. So if you think about it like that, think of DC as like the Vatican or the monarchy in the UK. This is how they carry themselves, and this is how they think of themselves there. They look at us like peasants. They're all in DC. They can do what they want because they don't really abide by our Constitution because they have their own. And I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. Look it up. It's information that's out there. And they abide by their Constitution. So whenever we talk about the Constitution, they're not talking about the same Constitution we're talking about. They're talking about their Constitution. So it's something to think about when you start voting these people in. Start looking into it. Start looking into the laws at DC. Why isn't DC part of the union? This is why they don't really have to pay taxes. This is why a lot of the politicians live there, because there's probably a law, I don't know 100%, that they don't have to pay federal tax because they're their own country. Something to think about. Quit voting these people in. Get them out of there.
And
that's one of the things that people
go ahead.
Sorry. One of the things people forget is they've been demoralized to think that their vote doesn't matter, but it does, because the biggest way that you can vote people out is to go vote in the primaries. People don't vote until it's like election day, but if you actually get involved in the primaries, that's how you get people out of power. Without resorting to the most extreme ways and watering the Tree of Liberty, is to vote in the primaries. You have to primary people. You have to do that in order to get somebody out, and you have to push that in your state, in your city, in order to get people out. If you don't like somebody, primary them, right? Donate to their opponent. There are things you can do, but nobody wants to do that. That's your civic duty. If you want to be a responsible citizen and you don't want these people to be in power, then vote in the primaries. That's how you get rid of them. Period.
We are at the precipice. Okay, and I mean I heard people say that all the time, and I know there are tons of people that don't subscribe to the notion, or you're afraid to do it, or you're afraid to chime in, or you sit down and you didn't vote, or you just decide to take a backbench. This is how everything got to where we are because you did that. I did that. We all did that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
When they start taking stuff from us on the school level, we sat down, did
Mhm.
nothing. When they falsified 9/11 and took away our rights for privacy, we allowed that. When they start telling you can't fly with a spray can because of danger, which is stupid to me, and you know that it's stupid, we allowed that to happen. When they told you couldn't even pray in school, we allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wonder why your kids are in the state that they are in the middle of the school and they're getting shot up. You want to know why? This is why it happened. Even if you're not religious, when you take something positive and replace it with absolute trash, what you end up with is trash.
Yep.
You bring a bunch of these cross-dressing pedophiles into your school. What do you think is going to happen? Your child's going to get raped. What do you think is going to happen? How dumb people are got to be? How stupid you got to be?
And we allow
What do you
it.
think if you put your child in front of a pedophile, he's just going to what? Talk to him? They're going to try to rape your child. You're like an idiot bringing your kids in front of drag queens and talk about freedom. Freedom what? Freedom seed. How about freedom seed? How about if I start giving out freedom seeds to every drag queen? How about that? Freedom. Because that's what you really deserve, because you're going after children to try and abuse them. And you're like an idiotic parent bringing your moronic self to put your child in front of that. Because you're a pervert too, you probably touch on your own child. I have no doubt you probably do that. Then you got the other percent of people, these other Negroes that want to vote Democrat every time, and then when nothing's going their way, for how about 70 years now you've been voting Democrat? And Trump said this, for 70 years you've been voting Democrat, you have places that look like trash. Everyone in power is black. Not a single one of them are doing anything to help you. Meanwhile, they're living in opulence. They got the fanciest house. They got all kinds of security, and they will never live next to you. But they say your rights matter.
And they
Then
look
they're
down
bringing
on
fucking
you.
illegals in day out to replace you, and you still don't wake up. Man, look, what you get, but understand this. At some point, this will tip. It'll tip one way or the other, whether it be in a civil war or it be in us just completely getting wiped out. One way or another, it'll get tipped.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going down, trust and believe me, I'm going swinging.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll win, but I'm going to swing.
And something's coming.
Sorry, go ahead.
Something's coming a lot faster than what we think. So I always tell Americans, don't get too comfortable. But, if you consider yourself someone who loves your country, whether you're a patriot or you're just someone that loves their country, not everyone claims the title of patriot, whether you're right or left. Stop trying to be part of a group. And when I say group, stop trying to be accepted. If you're in a group and you have a belief, but you're afraid to voice your belief because you don't want to be shunned from the group, you really don't believe in what you believe in. I'd rather be a loner for what I believe in and what I stand by than to be in a group with a bunch of parrots who just regurgitate the same talking point. So I'll stand alone. I'm a loner, and I say what I say, and I mean what I say. So what I'm getting at is that Americans need to stop trying to be accepted and stand for truth. Screw acceptance. Stand alone and voice your opinion, and don't be afraid to do it. Who cares what mama thinks? I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to voice my opinion on how I feel about my country, and if they don't like it, they can kick rocks. I'm just saying, go ahead.
Kick their toes, kick it barefoot.
Yeah.
So here's my final thoughts I wanted to add on to what Marlon was saying. The one thing you forgot was the family. One of the things that they convinced you of was that it was okay to have both parents out of the house and your kids were going to be okay with the state. That is an absolute lie that they told you. They convinced women that they needed to be equal and that they needed to be out there being boss girl every single day and F those kids, right? So that's what you get when you do that. They convinced you that you didn't need a man and that you didn't need marriage. And then now we have kids out here without any male figures or role models or anything, and they destroyed the family, and we let them do it. And that is the biggest regret, I think, for the United States, is that we destroyed what made America great, and that was the nuclear family that we had, and we let them destroy it, and we let them convince people that that's what we needed, is that they needed more tax income. That's exactly what it was. They wanted to get people broken up and out of the house so both the parents are working and they can indoctrinate the kids in the schools and do whatever they wanted with them, and that is our fault, and we let that happen. So we have to fix that. first, and then we can fix everything else.
Hey, I know we got to get off, but I'm gonna back up to a point I made about DC real quick. So I want you to think, look at your dollar, look at the pyramid on top of the dollar. There are 3 entities that run our country. You have DC, you have the Vatican, and you have the crown. 3 of those, 1, 2, 3, makes a what? A pyramid. So you guys need to understand, when it comes to our country, if you just sit back and take it, these people get comfortable telling us what to do. And it's not just DC. I'm telling you, there's outside entities that own portions of our country. This is why DC doesn't do a lot of things the American people want. They'll blow smoke up your ass, up your butt, because they're answering to outside entities that aren't American. So what you need to do, you need to vote. And if that person promises you something, and I promise blah, 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 and they don't follow through with that promise within their term, they're out. You get one shot, one strike, boom, you're gone. You're not getting reelected. But as good little puppets, as good little parrots, we get comfortable with our lives, and we get comfortable with who's in office, and it's a form of laziness. And you just, I'm used to this person, I'm gonna just vote him in. Stockholm syndrome. So start thinking about your vote and take it seriously, because it affects. I'm not worried about me. My generation's at that, we're there. We're peaking, and we're about to peak down. I'm thinking about my kids' generation and their generations and generations after that. Us, we're gonna put up a fight until the day we die. But our kids, they don't need to be putting up a fight right now. They need to have the America we had when we were young. Good, bad, whatever. You figure that out. But think twice if you're not one of those people that don't vote. Think about it, because your vote does matter. Like Coy said, it does matter. You may not think it does. But it does matter.
Location is it. The location of your dropping of when you got your voting. You got to focus on where there's a level, and like you said, local level.
Yep.
Don't wait till the president's time is coming up, because by then you're batting behind it. You're behind the 8 ball by that point.
Right.
This Friday, we have a whole bunch of things going on, bro. Like all kinds of crap coming down the pike. Me take a gander at our inbox again, because there was something that I saw and I wanted to tackle it on Friday, but I have to look again, because there were like 18 million different things that came across our our thing. That manifesto thing.
The one that they're not going to release.
Why the school is trying to block it is very interesting.
Yes.
I found.
So apparently the school that had the transgender shoot it up is trying to block the release of her manifesto. So we're going to have a discussion about that on Friday as of reasons. I think we'll do some digging into the school to see if there are any other people that said that they were doing some crazy stuff. It might be that they actually are ones that created the situation to begin with, not necessarily the kids. I'm talking about the faculty. And they might be actually ones to blame. Like I said, we here are about truth. Okay, we're not not releasing the killer from her stupidity and violence at all. Right. She deserved every bullet she got. She should have gotten it sooner, but she got it. But if the school was partially responsible for her breakdown, we got to call them out too.
Yep.
All right. Especially if you're trying to do it under the name and guise of God, or you definitely gonna get lit up.
I know what rabbit holes you're going down. Yes.
You gonna get lit up if that was the case. Oh, you done on it. We will find you. Trust me, we'll find you out. So if we find that out, we'll be reporting on that on Monday. Not Monday, Friday. So we'll catch up then. Lee will not be with us on Friday either. He had to work some OT at his regular 9-to-5 job. And so he won't be here. He wasn't here today. He won't be here on Friday, but he will be back on Monday. So with that knowledge in mind, please share this video if America matters to you. Get it out. Send it to some big name by accident. Send it to like Alex Jones or something randomly and see if it decides to, if it pops in. Send it there. Send it to, I don't know, Fox News and Newsmax. Send it all the place. Just send it everywhere you can
send it everywhere.
Yeah. And see if something grabs. You know what? Gavin McGinnis. Send it to Gavin McGinnis. He'll get it out. He likes hearing this kind of stuff.
We need you guys' help, man. I want to go to Twitter and see clips
of
of
our
our
stuff.
video,
Yeah.
of our stuff on Twitter. I go to
Yeah.
Twitter, I have to post a clip, or Marlon has, we want to see other people, especially the people, the diehards that watch our show every day,
Flip and
every
share.
day that it's on. Take clips, screenshot a clip, cut it, edit, and post it. Post it. Let people get the word out. We need your help getting the word
We
out.
do.
Yep.
It's
You
hard
saying,
by
Corey?
ourselves because we run multiple podcasts too. So this isn't the only one. So we're trying to get all
Lots
these
of shows.
words out, and it's a lot of work. So we need your help.
It is. You were gonna say something, Corey?
Oh no, that was it. It's
Okay.
just that we
Cool.
clip and share. That's the name of the game. Clip and share.
Clip and share.
Clip and share, share and clip and share.
Find your favorite point and just be like, I like that point, and
Find
just,
something you like and send it out to the
and
masses.
just send it out to the masses. Put a
But
link.
we
Tell them
will-
where to find us.
We will be back on Friday to talk about that private Christian school and the trans shooter and why they might be trying to suppress that. So we'll catch you guys on Friday. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you have not yet. And this is Savage Patriots signing out. Peace.